Hi, everyone. It's Melody with Marketing Melody, Marketing Your Way to Success. And we are here for another webinar with SDAR. Today, I have a really exciting presentation, and we are going to be talking today about the profitable power of storytelling for real estate. The reason why I wanted to use this topic is because a lot of people right now are talking about how challenging it is to be on social media. They don't want to do reels. They don't want to do these live videos. How do you even create these reels and stories? Well, we're going to go back to the basics and talk about creating powerful content using storytelling that anyone can do, that we've all been doing for a while. But let's get back to something that's not so complicated on social media. So does that sound good? If it sounds good, give me a thumbs up. All right, so feel free to utilize the chat too. I'm going to make sure that we make this a very interactive session. If you've been to my sessions before, you know that I'm not just talking at you, but I truly want this to be an experience and an opportunity for you to connect with each other. So let's get started by doing that with some introductions. So go ahead and utilize the chat box so we can kind of chime in. Feel free to show your face on camera too. I love seeing people who are on the Zoom chat. I know a lot of people are shy and want to hide their camera, but how you show up on Zoom is how you're going to show up in person. So you wouldn't show a house by hiding, behind something. Well, I guess we had to hide behind face coverings during 2020, but thank you guys. So I see Chi, thank you, John. I see you there. Happy to see your guys' smiling faces. So let's go ahead and type in the chat. And again, take this as an opportunity to network, collaborate, and share things. I want to know something fun that you're doing this weekend. It doesn't always have to be about business or something really serious. What's something fun that you are going to be doing this weekend? So on Sunday, my family and I are going to be going up to Anaheim, and then we're going to be going to Disneyland. So that's something fun that we're doing over the weekend. Anyone else have something fun that they're doing? And the reason I'm even asking this is because on social media, I follow a lot of real estate accounts where they only share about the listings and sales and businesses. But it is okay to share some things that you're doing. So John says he's doing kids baseball games, hopefully not rained out. Yes, I heard it is going to rain, so hopefully we stay dry on our trip and you stay dry on your baseball game. But posting about baseball is not related to real estate. However, people still want to see that stuff. They want to see that you're going to baseball games, that you're hanging out with your kids. She is taking my niece to her first dance. That sounds like a lot of fun. So dancing, having fun with your family. Jeff says not much this weekend. Anything fun that you're doing next week, Jeff? Does it have to be this weekend? Maybe upcoming. And Rindy, I believe that's how you pronounce her name, pickleball and watching tennis. Oh, Shay. Thank you so much for letting me know how to pronounce your name. And pickleball, I've heard, is growing in popularity nowadays. So I used to work with someone who was big into pickleball, and I believe that there are even clothing lines and a lot of things specific to pickleball. So lots of fun things going on that are unrelated to real estate or whatever your business is. And that is okay to share. And it's also okay to share online. Because now you shared about pickleball, maybe someone else is like, hey, Rindy, where do you play pickleball? I'm interested in learning about pickleball. Or maybe someone saw that John has baseball games. Hey, my son's in Little League too. My son's in baseball too. Let's connect and maybe we can get together and talk about all the fun things baseball. So it's a great way to let people know what you are interested in personally, to be able to create personal connections. Jeff says, remember it's race weekend. I'll be glued to the TV. So if other people are into Formula One racing, then they can connect with Jeff, which is what he will be doing this weekend. All right, next, let's go ahead and continue the conversation. Share a hobby that you have. Maybe it is something like gardening, or maybe you're really into creating art. So one of my hobbies is creating charcuterie boards. I love creating these for friends and family and neighbors. I love being in the kitchen, and I've taken on the craft of creating charcuterie boards. That's just a hobby that I have. Another hobby that I have is practicing yoga and meditation. I love being able to, even if I'm meditating for 5 minutes, take 5 minutes off and be able to recenter and regroup. And I love yoga for both the physical aspect and the mental aspect. So what about you guys? What are some hobbies that you have? And you'll see where I'm going with this again as I go through how we can integrate storytelling with your business. Anyone else? I know with real estate, there's not too much free time for hobbies. but what are some hobbies that maybe you're interested in, even if you're not doing them right now? Maybe reading, maybe you enjoy baking. Erica says cooking. Shay says reading. And John says cycling. Awesome. So these are a lot of great things that you're doing. And no surprise here, playing tennis, architecture. Jeff has 2 big projects going on right now. So I want to just tie in your hobbies to your business for a second. So if you are really into cycling, maybe something you share is, here are the top 5 places to go cycling, or the top 5 cycling locations in San Diego. Okay, so playing tennis. Rindy, maybe you're talking about, here are the top 5 places that you can go in and play around at tennis with friends. Architecture, Jeff talking about architecture in different neighborhoods. Keep in mind that when people are following you, and again, they're not just following you to find out about what you listed and what you sold. They want to really know about different areas. They want to know about different cities. So talking about these things and incorporating your hobbies is really going to help your story. It's really going to help you put your content out there so that people get to know you. And let's see, there's people in the waiting room. Let me see if I can let them in. Some laggers here. All right, a lot of people here in the waiting room. Whoops, I should check that more often. All right, so I see a bunch of people just joining in. Welcome if you're here. I see Julie here, Brian here. I already shared too. Please go ahead and turn on your camera. I love seeing who is in the webinars. And we just started by sharing a few answers to some questions. What you're doing this weekend for fun, and what hobby that you enjoy. So share that in a chat if you like. Let us know something fun you're doing this weekend and any hobbies you have. And I just shared about why it's important to be able to incorporate these things with your social media. People want to know what you do on a personal level versus just hiring someone that they're not really sure if they have any connection or relation to at all. So feel free, if you're just jumping in. I have a handful of people that just jumped in. Share those things in the comments. Michelle likes to walk on the beach with my husky. So that's a great one. Way to incorporate that is talking about the different areas and different beach areas in San Diego. You have Coronado, you have Ocean Beach, Pacific Beach. There's so many beach areas. Or maybe talking about different dog parks, dog-friendly beaches. Okay, so thinking about what you enjoy doing, what your hobbies are, and trying to incorporate those into things that people would be interested in related to location, related to living in certain areas. That's what's going to help you really craft a personal story with your real estate marketing. So before we continue on, make sure you're connected to me. I'm on Facebook and Instagram under Marketing Melody. If you're not, go ahead and pull out your phone and give me kind of a follow or a like. On these pages, I post about upcoming events, trainings. That's where you'll find out about content that I'm offering. I offer a lot of content completely for free. Also, you will see the way that I share my life. I don't always post about marketing. In fact, I have tested it. Whenever I do a marketing post on Instagram, it barely gets any visibility. Somehow, if I post on, I have a dog account, I have kids, I post about family vacations. When I post about fun things, people get a lot more interactive on those things. I still post about business because I still want people to see what I'm doing. But anytime I do that, I'm not going to expect tons of engagement. Okay, so go ahead and connect with me on social media. You can do Facebook, Instagram, or both. Also, I'm on LinkedIn and YouTube on those. And then once we are done here, if you pay attention to my postings, again, you'll see that I do incorporate business pretty often, but not as often as I post about personal things. Sterling says, I usually post and comment, love where you live, says Michelle. That's awesome. So you are encouraging people to think about their location and where they're living. Sterling says, I have my son's championship basketball game this weekend. We will also be going to nature in Fallbrook. Sterling, that sounds very exciting. What school or what is this for? Is this for a college team? Because I know college basketball is very exciting right now with March Madness. Shay says, done. Thank you so much. All right, so a lot of you are here because you want to learn about social media, and you also want to learn about specific aspects of social media. Rec baseball league. Okay, Sterling, that's still fun rec baseball league. But you said championship, so I was thinking maybe it was going to be on TV on the March Madness, but that's still fun. A lot of you are wanting to learn about new things to really grow your business. I see a lot of new faces here and also some returning people who have taken my trainings before. You will know that when I teach you things, I don't expect you to do everything. I do encourage you to take one thing from what you're learning to incorporate that into your business. So if you can take one thing away from this training and start incorporating it consistently, then this hour will be a huge success for you. It's going to really elevate your business from just learning one thing that you can incorporate. Because you can attend dozens of webinars and dozens of trainings. You can sit there for hours learning, but if you don't actually take the initiative to incorporate it and to actually do it, it's not going to make a huge difference. You'll have the knowledge, but if you're not applying it, it's not really going to help you grow your business. So type in the number 1 if you feel like this relates to you, that you want your social media posts to generate more engagement. Maybe you're posting things and you don't always feel like they're getting a lot of traction. And keep in mind, that's okay too. A lot of posts are intended to just put yourself out there and they're not naturally going to go viral. So number 1, if you want to get a little bit more engagement for your postings, you utilize the chat and hopefully there's people in here that can connect to the number 1. So type the 1 in the chat if that is you and you want to generate more engagement. I'm seeing some 1s from John. Thank you so much. Anyone else? 1? All right. How about number 2? Type in number 2, and maybe you're all of these. So Shay says 1 as well. Maybe if you want your social media posts to help you generate more referrals, how many of you would love getting more leads, more people introducing you, more people calling you from your posts? I see Shay says number 2. Michelle's 1 and 2. Brittany says number 2. So referrals are going to come more easily if you ask for them. If you don't ask for them, then you're not going to get them as frequently. So for example, I do these trainings almost every single month. And when I'm emailing people about them, sometimes I'll invite clients. I will say, hey, if you know anyone who would be interested, please send them this link. Please invite them. I'm asking for it. You have to ask, otherwise it's not on people's minds. Number 3, how many of you want to generate more consistent leads? So maybe occasionally you're getting people refer you on social media, but what if it was more consistent? What if you were able to get maybe every single month, you got at least 2 qualified leads on social media? So John's saying, oh, Brittany's saying 3. So if any of these, 1, 2, 3, or all of them can relate to you, then we're in the right place today to be able to learn. Okay, so we don't have a huge amount of time today. I do like to keep these trainings short and sweet and then leave some room at the end for discussion and Q&A. But the time we're here, let's think about the things that I'm sharing and how we can really incorporate them into our business consistently. If you are not consistent, you are going to get inconsistent results. So let's think about how we can truly be consistent, because success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. This is also why I have let you know that you do not have to do everything, but you do want to do a few things consistently. So let's talk about our topic today, and that is creating stories and storytelling. You have probably all been to a talk or you've been to trainings where you've heard a speaker be able to tell a compelling story. Maybe they overcame a huge challenge. Maybe they grew up in poverty, or was it from rags to riches? And how many of you have done this? I know that I have. I'm thinking, well, I don't have any stories like that. How can I be as compelling to encourage people to hire me? I don't have any major things I've overcome. Have any of you ever had that thought when you heard someone on stage? It could be a big keynote speaker tell this amazing story. Maybe you watched it on a talk show or TV. Have any of you felt like you don't have those kinds of stories to tell? Raise your hand or kind of give me a thumbs up if you have felt that way before. Okay, so I'm seeing Michelle waving her hand at me. I'm seeing a few people nodding on here. So that's okay. You don't have to have these overexciting, compelling stories to be able to use storytelling in your marketing. So if you haven't already, I want you to kind of pull out a notepad or someplace to jot down some notes. We are going to create some stories today that we can share with our social media and tie it into our business. Okay, I'll talk to you about how you can tie in stories to your business. So Keith says, I tell stories all of my life. We all tell stories. We sometimes just don't recognize them as important stories or compelling stories so that we don't end up sharing them. Okay, so let's talk about getting started. First, I want to talk about something that we all have, whether they're good or bad, we all have childhood memories. So this is the first place I want you guys to start thinking about pulling stories from. Okay, childhood memories can be anything from things you experienced in elementary school, junior high, high school, maybe even as a young child, you remembered something. This can, now if you're thinking, can't think of anything, think of a favorite meal you had as a child. Okay, think of a favorite present you got on a holiday as a child. Okay, think back to something that was exciting to you as a child. Maybe it was when you lost your first tooth and you got money under your pillow. Okay, we've all lost teeth before. How many of you had the tooth fairy when you were younger? Okay, how many of you had the tooth fairy come? Okay, raise your hand or give me a thumbs up if you had a tooth fairy when you were younger. I know I had a tooth fairy. The tooth fairy would place coins, so it was like a quarter in, and I see Julie raise your hand. The quarter would be, remember those film strips, those little canisters with film? It was like they would hold quarters in them and you would keep them for different things when we actually had real cameras. I remember when I would lose a tooth, I would wake up and there would be I would put it in the little container and I would wake up and there would be a quarter inside. Okay, nowadays it's a little bit different. I think kids are expecting $5, $10, $20. But back then I would get a quarter and I was so excited to get a quarter for my tooth. Okay, so that's when I started realizing, oh, wow, I can earn my own money. I can actually have money that I can save and I can use to buy things. Okay. And by having this tooth fairy come, I started being able to think about different ways that I would be able to get that quarter. What are different ways that I can earn a quarter? Because I want to be able to earn money and be entrepreneurial. Okay. And everyone here, you probably work in real estate or own your own businesses. So think of a story like that where you started thinking about earning money for doing chores, mowing the lawn, babysitting, and maybe you can share what you did as a child to earn income. Okay, so I'm going to share a story that I did when I was younger. Type in the comments what you did as a child to earn allowance or to earn money, if anything. You type in the chat, I want to hear what you guys did to earn allowance and to earn money, because this is something that you can share and relate it to your business because you are sharing how you got started with your business venture. Did you babysit? Did you mow lawns? Did you deliver newspapers? Type in the chat, what did you do as a child? Rindy had a paper route and delivered Avon books. Okay, that's awesome. People don't have paper routes anymore. Although, you know what? I do have a neighbor that I do see newspapers on our door every morning. So people do have paper routes. It does happen. The newspaper does show up somehow at people's doors still. So Sterling said, babysitting. Okay, babysitting is how, and also help my mom stuff flyers for her business. Awesome. So these are things that you can share about how you started earning income as a child, cleaned your church. That's awesome, Rhonda, that you helped with your family with their faith organization cleaning. Shay worked for a school library at lunch and after school. Maybe you share about your love of reading. Maybe that allows you to share about different real estate books you should read if you are interested in learning more about real estate. Rhonda, you shared about working for a church. If you're still involved in a church, maybe you can highlight different churches in different neighborhoods. So you want to start thinking, and Shay says she worked in a school library and lunches after school. Also, libraries are great. Share about the different libraries in different neighborhoods, and different libraries offer free programs and events. You want to start thinking about things that you did as a kid and how to incorporate them into what you're doing now. Jeff would shovel snow and rake leaves. That's also a great story that you can share to talk about home maintenance and different things you can do to increase the value of your home and add more curb appeal, right? Are you guys understanding or kind of getting how you can take little things you did as a child and incorporate them into your business now? And the first thing is childhood memories. So when I was a child, I posted about this recently, but you're probably thinking, why is there a photo of random chili lollipops? What I would do is I would go to the dollar store, I would buy a bag of these chili lollipops, and I would be a candy dealer at school. I'd bring them to school, and all the kids wanted these lollipops because you can't really buy them at the regular grocery stores, and parents probably didn't want their kids to eat them too much because they were spicy. And I would sell them for $1. And before lunch, and maybe it was first, second period, I was 11 years old in junior high, I would sell out immediately. Every single time I did this, I would sell out immediately. So the dollar store that I would go to, they had different things in stock. They didn't always have these, but every single time they had these, I would pick them up, and then I would end up tripling my money. And I also did this with those caramel apple lollipops. You guys remember those? They still have those around, the caramel apple lollipops. You probably see them in Halloween. I would also sell those. They were also things that parents didn't buy their kids often because they were too chewy. But they bought them for me, and the kids had the money somehow because maybe they earned them with their tooth fairy or their allowance. So this was my start into becoming an entrepreneur. Okay, I earned that money from the tooth fairy, and then I thought, how can I earn more quarters? Then I started selling lollipops for quarters, and I've used that mindset today into how can I be able to get something that's not worth a lot, but turn it into more value for someone and help someone get more value out of this while still being able to generate some sort of income for my family and to pay my mortgage. Okay, so think about little things that you did as a kid and how you can share them today. Okay, a lot of you shared so many different things already. This is a story. That's why I wanted you to write this down. Write this down, and this can be a story that you tell when you are meeting with a client. It can be a story you tell on social media. It can be a story you tell on your newsletter. Anytime you have a memory as a child, you can somehow share it and figure out a way to turn it into a story that people can relate to, because other people experience the same thing. Other people who raked leaves and shoveled snow and babysat can connect with you in some way. And even if it's not something that they did, it shows that you have that work ethic. Okay, so that's the first story I want you to think about being able to tell is childhood memories. Now, the next thing is overcoming a challenge. Think of something that you were challenged with. It could be in your adult life. It could be when you were a child, how you overcame that. And you can share that story. Again, this might be related to real estate. Maybe you had that client that you had so many issues with, and everything would fall through. It looked like escrow was never going to close, one thing after another. They had to go traveling. They ended up buying a car. They almost got fraud during the escrow process. Think of a challenge that you were able to overcome, and that's going to be your next story. So write this down, or you can write it down as we're discussing. As I'm sharing my own challenge story, I want you to type in the chat if you have your own. This could be when you were a kid. Maybe you had challenge with speech, but you saw a speech therapist and you were able to overcome that. Maybe when you were a child, you fell off your bike and you got injured and you were crying. You remember how scared you were to ride a bike again, but you got back on that bike again. Okay, this can be maybe when you were in high school and you were failing a class, but you were somehow able to work some extra hours. Maybe the teacher was able to work with you one-on-one and gave you some extra office hours. Or extra office hours are for college, but still, maybe it was in high school. You went after school and talked to them, and then the next test came and you got a B, and then you ended up getting an A. You think of anything that you were challenged with life. Start typing in the comments if you have a challenge that you were able to overcome. I'll read some of those out loud, and then I will share with you my own story, one of the stories that I tell as a challenge. Anyone? I don't see any challenges right now. So that means that no one in here has any challenges that they've ever overcome. This could be, again, falling off your bike, getting a boo-boo, and getting back up. This could be maybe trying out for a sports team. You didn't make it, but then you made a different team and you found another outlet. You know, lots of challenges out there. And I want you guys to be thinking about these, because this is how you can add it to your story, how you can share and create more personal content. Challenge was to go to a new state for family relocation. Yes. So relocating is very challenging, especially when you are younger. Okay. Especially when you're younger. So when you tell that story, talk about things that helped you. Maybe you were able to connect with some school teachers. Maybe you're able to find some local parks and local things to do that you really enjoyed, that made you feel more at home. And then, of course, tie that into what you're doing now with real estate. Hey, everyone, I know it's challenging to relocate. I've been there. Here are 5 things you can do when you relocate to make it easier for your kids and your family, okay, or your pets even. Okay, anyone else, if you throw anything out there, and I guarantee you, I will be able to help you come up with a way to tie it into your marketing. So use this time wisely. And you are not paying for this. This is part of your membership to SDAR, and they've also opened it up to anyone who's not even a member. So you are getting valuable marketing insight. The more you participate in this, the more actual insight you'll get to add to your marketing. John says, best friend moved away right before middle school. So that is always a sad thing to happen when your best friend moves away. You know, different things you can talk about. What did you do? Did you guys send packages? Did you guys, now you can FaceTime. We can't do that we couldn't do that back then. When I had friends move away, we would literally write letters to each other in the mail. We'd be pen pals. So talk about how you can do that. Maybe you can plan a family trip around to where your best friend moved to. You know, how did you overcome that, John, when you had that challenge? Jeff says, competitive skateboarding, constantly falling, getting back up in order to learn to push personal limits. Awesome. I love that. Share that story today about how you were able to push personal limits. Okay, it is something that we can relate to. Randy said, my math teacher didn't allow me to do higher math as a senior because I was not understanding. I ended up getting a degree in math. Okay, that is a great story to tell. I love that. So are you a real estate agent now after getting that math degree, or do you work in finance? I have a lot of clients who are lenders too. So I have a lot of clients who are lenders and work in the mortgage space and financing. So if you would like an agent who understands numbers and really being able to crunch numbers to maybe save you more, to get you more, then Rindy is a person for you, because she has a degree in math and that she overcame. So I love that story. All right, so I'll keep sharing my story as you guys go in there, because again, you are going to be able to tie it into your marketing somehow by thinking about ways to do that, or just by being here and having me tell you how you can tie it into your marketing. So what game are these people playing here? What are they playing? Okay, anyone play this before when they were in school? These are adults at a conference playing it, but yes, Foursquare. Okay, so they're playing the game Foursquare. Foursquare for a while was a very popular social media check-in app. It still kind of exists, but and this was actually the founder of Foursquare on this bottom left corner of the Foursquare app, but they based it after the game Foursquare when you're a kid. When I was younger in elementary school, I enjoyed playing Foursquare, but people would always get me out. It was always boys. Okay, boys would be so mean to the girls playing, and they would get me out, which makes no sense, because I'm thinking, don't you want to be friends with the girls? But when you are in 3rd grade, you're not thinking about the future with these girls. You're thinking about just winning in Foursquare. Okay, so when I was younger, boys would get me out, and it would be sad. I would wait in line, and then all of a sudden I would be out. Okay, so I decided, you know what? Instead of trying to compete with these boys playing Foursquare that who are more forceful, who are stronger, I'm going to go and talk to the principal to see if there are any other things that I can do during recess time instead of playing Foursquare. So I got together with a few of my other friends who were also girls, and we would get kicked out of these Foursquare games, and we decided we were going to create this school newspaper. And so during recess, we would go to the computer lab and we would type out these school newspapers. And I went to Washington Elementary, which is here in San Diego in Little Italy, and we called it Washington News. So we typed out these school newspapers, and at a young age, I was in 3rd grade, I was already creating basically newsletters, newsletters for my school instead of wasting my time waiting in line for Foursquare. So that is a story that I overcame as I just found something better to do. I found something that actually can relate to my career now, and I found something that more productive was we would write these school newsletters called Washington News. All right, so next, this one is success stories. Okay, people love to hear success stories. What is a success that you've had? This might be related to a challenge, but it might be a standalone on just successes that you've had as either a kid or an adult. Now, as you are sitting down thinking about stories, if you cannot think of something right away, here's another trick that you can do to create stories. First, start by thinking of your childhood. What success stories do you have in childhood? And then write that down. If you can't think of anything, or even if you can think of something, the next stage I want you to go to is maybe college, okay? From childhood to high school and then college. In college, what successes have you had? And then after college, when you first graduated, what successes did you have? And then after that first graduation, what successes did you have in your career? Think of your life in different phases, and then you can pull stories from those different phases in life. Okay, so think about success stories. Does anyone want to share a success story that they've had as a child? I'm going to ask this in different phases. Type it in the chat. Okay, if you can't think of something as a child, move on to the next phase as a college student. Share a success you had in college, and then go ahead and share a success maybe you had when you first graduated, and then a success that you had more recently as an adult. So I will share a success story that I had in college. In college, I went to UC Santa Barbara, go Gauchos. We are in the NCAA tournament. Oh, yes, I recall John went to UCSB as well. If any other Gauchos in here, give me a shout out. So I will be watching them in the tournament coming up, and hopefully we will win. I know SDSU is also in the tournament, so that is going to be another school that I will be cheering for San Diego in my hometown. When I was in college, Santa Barbara was a great school. Yes, my son is there. I am a slug. So slug, that is UC Santa Cruz. Am I correct? It's like the banana slugs, I believe. And Rini says, so is your son in Santa Cruz or Santa Barbara? I think Santa Cruz or Santa. So yes. Oh, okay. So you went to Santa Barbara? You said, I'm confused who went to Santa Barbara and who went to Santa Cruz. So feel free to type in your, go ahead and he's at Santa Barbara there. Oh, okay, he's at Santa Barbara and you went to Santa Cruz. Awesome. So you have a UC family. So when I was in college, the great thing about the UC system, and they're actually now, a lot of the schools are ranked at the very top. Okay, top up there. I just saw a report from the US News and Reports. UC Santa Barbara ranks 3rd of all the UCs now, right behind UCLA and Berkeley that are tied at the top. And then San Diego kind of dropped back behind that. So a success story that I had is that UC schools are very theory-based. So we have a lot of amazing classes that teach you the theory behind things. So you really understand the theory behind why people communicate in a certain way, why people do things in a certain way, but it's not as practical application based. Okay, so what they encourage you to do is to get internships and to do things outside of the classroom to get that practical application. So I took an internship class that encouraged me to get an internship. So I got an internship at Clear Channel Communications, which is now called iHeartMedia. It was some local radio stations in Santa Barbara. I got an internship there. And actually, you know what? I got an internship at Clear Channel in San Diego. So over the summer, I came back and got an internship at San Diego. There was also a local Santa Barbara station. So after I interned that summer in San Diego, I had a success and I actually got hired on to work at the Santa Barbara station in promotions. You know, I think I got paid $10 an hour, not very much. And maybe it was whatever minimum wage was. And I would go to events and pass out hats and stickers and flyers. You know how you see those radio stations at events and they have those booths, you can spin wheels. So that's what I did. And I also drove around, you know, that big van that you see those radio station vans have. Well, college students drive those because I was a college student. I was driving one of those big vans and we would just kind of drive around promoting the radio station. So I thought that was a huge success from being able to intern in San Diego, not get paid a penny, to getting this minimum wage job, promoting the radio station. And you always think those people look so cool, but again, it's a minimum wage job. It does just have some perks because you get to kind of cut in line and go see movie premieres, things like that. And then when I graduated, my first job out of school, guess where it was? It was at Clear Channel Communications back in San Diego. So I thought that was a success because I was able to start at a college class, take that on to interning for free, take it on to a very part-time job, and take it on and onto my very first full paying job. Okay, so when I first graduated from school, I was offered this job and I thought, wow, I'm gonna make so much money. I just spent thousands of dollars getting a degree, and they said that the pay is $32,000 a year. Okay, so $32,000 a year plus commission. So obviously I could earn more, but the pay was kind of like a minimal type of pay, minimum entry level pay. And so I took on that job, and then I was able to earn more in commission. I was able to double what I was earning and really turning that into a success where I share how I started this hard work of interning and I turned it into my first professional job. Okay, so think about stories like that led you into real estate. You know, what did you do as a child or in college that kind of relates to real estate in some way? Me working for a radio station and a communication company, and then going into working in sales at a radio station, I was doing a lot of marketing. It was all marketing. I was helping my clients advertise and market themselves. Okay, so I was doing that at a very young age, and I turned it into my career today, and I'm still doing that. I'm now teaching people how to do that. So what is something that you did in any stage of your life that you can kind of share as a success with people and success in real estate? Maybe you had some really great sales experience somewhere. Maybe you had some negative sales experience and you realized you wanted to get into real estate to work on your own and to have more freedom and flexibility. Okay, think about something that you did. Feel free to share in the comments, and then we can all give each other ideas, or I will give you the idea. So I reward people for participating in my sessions. I reward you by giving you really valuable advice that you can apply to help you generate more revenue. Okay, so we talked a lot about today about success stories. One other way to get success stories is by getting client testimonials. Okay, so this is other people sharing their success with you, other people promoting you. Okay, so what I do when I get a testimonial is that I have a document where I copy and paste all of my reviews. They could be on Facebook, on Google, on LinkedIn. I have a document with all the reviews, and then I'm able to copy and paste parts of those reviews. Some of them are pretty long, so you want to just copy and paste parts of it to create little images and clips like this that I can post on Instagram, on Facebook. I can post on my email newsletter. Now, this is other people sharing success for me. Okay, so I don't have that much time to be able to share how to increase your chances of getting testimonials. What I will do is that I will share with you a course that I created on generating social media reviews. I have a complete full course on LinkedIn Learning. If you are a premium member, feel free to look it up and you will get it for free. If you're not, I'm going to send you a link after this to access it for free. Otherwise, you can go on there and purchase it. It does help me if you purchase the course, and I will get some sort of small percentage. I think it's a $30 course. However, I'm going to send you a free link to be able to watch it. So take advantage of that. If you do watch it, I would love if you gave me a thumbs up and a positive review on the course. That will help other people see the course and purchase it. So if you do watch it, do that. But I highly encourage you to watch this course. It is a training that I've already created, and I will teach you how to get reviews and how you can generate more positive success stories through testimonials. Shay says, I was chosen to be an apprentice at a pottery studio out of 20 applicants. That is awesome. That's something that you can definitely share about, because a lot of people are into pottery, or turn that into being into home decor. A lot of home decor is pottery. How can you elevate your home? Add pieces, handmade pottery pieces to your home. Now, before we continue on, I shared in the very beginning that one of the most important things that you need to do is be consistent. So if it's not on your calendar, it does not exist. So I want you, if you plan to start creating content related to storytelling or creating content at all on social media, I want you to pull out your calendar and make sure you schedule a reoccurring time on your calendar to work on your social media. It should not be something that is on the back burner. It should be on, I use my phone for my calendar. It should be something that's reoccurring every single week, because it should be a part of what you do to generate revenue. Just like if you're going to be going to caravans, just like if you're going to be making phone calls, if you're going to be doing stuff with your team, doing team motivational meetings, marketing needs to be something that's seen as an important part of your business day, just like anything else that you're doing that is going to generate revenue for you. So pull out your calendar, add in, if you don't already have it in, just 1 hour a week. 1 hour a week out of all the hours that you work. If you work 30 hours, 40 hours, 50 hours, is not that much. And it's going to make a huge difference if you have it consistently. I guarantee that you will get more done if it's on your calendar. You can ask any of my clients. I have a lot of clients that I'm working with right now. I can give you their social media accounts. And if you go on their profiles, you will notice, oh, wow, why is this person posting all the time? Why are they so consistent? It is because, first of all, they work with me, so I encourage them to do this. And then second of all, it's on their calendar. It is scheduled on their calendar, which is why you will notice that they have very consistent social media postings. Maybe they miss a day here or there. That's okay, because if it's consistent, then it'll be there the next week. They'll have more content the next week. So if you've done that, give me a thumbs up. Something else that I want to encourage you to think about is to never be too busy for your customers. A lot of times I talk about creating these stories and all this content on social media and posting about it, but I also want to make sure that you know how important and valuable it is to reply to people who are commenting on your post, even if it's just a thank you so much. A lot of times people comment on a post, they don't get a reply, then they don't comment again, or they're thinking, why am I being ignored? So it's really important that you also take the time to reply back to people who are commenting on what you're doing. Sometimes it's not possible. Sometimes maybe it's your birthday and you had 100 people wish you happy birthday. You can't reply to all of them, and you do general posts saying, thank you so much for wishing me happy birthday. But many times you're only getting 2, 3, 4 comments. Make sure you're replying back to your customers and continuing that story that you're telling, continuing that engagement. That's going to make a big difference for engagement. That's also going to get your post more visible, right? We talked about in the beginning how you want to get more visibility for your post and more engagement. Replying back to people is going to help, and it's going to make a huge difference. Now, I recently was reading somewhere that people are going, what sites are people going to really be able to do marketing? Facebook still is the top site that was mentioned. A lot of people are thinking, oh, well, I'm not on Facebook anymore. No one's on Facebook. Well, billions of people are on Facebook, and they're still doing business on Facebook. Another place for business professionals. I know you hear a lot about TikTok. I know TikTok. Well, business professionals are on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has become much more interactive, much more engaging. LinkedIn is another place you can go and tell stories. And then Instagram is a very visual place, especially for your real estate business. Instagram can get a little bit tricky because there's stories and reels, and there's all these other things that Instagram is pushing you to do. But Instagram is another place that you can go to share and tell your stories. So let's do a quick recap today. Then we are going to have about 10 minutes left. I will end the recording, but I will go ahead and stick around for Q&A. A lot of you here might have questions. Some of you here have worked with me one-on-one. You know that it is not cheap to hire someone one-on-one to work with you and answer all your questions. Okay. So because I'm here, I really encourage you to ask these questions because you do not have to pay extra for it. So a lot of times people come to these things, they kind of sit there and they don't do anything. But you are really going to be losing that value if you don't ask the questions that you have. So let's do a recap. We talked about how you can create your stories today. Childhood memories. Think about a childhood memory that you had. I shared my story about how I was a candy lollipop dealer. Overcoming a challenge. Hey, share a story about overcoming a challenge. I shared my story about getting beat by the boys in Foursquare and then turning it into creating essentially a newsletter, my very first newsletter called Washington News. I'm going to see if I can find a copy of it and I'll share it on social media one day because I was very proud of it. There was those old school computers, you know, that was only black and white. And then the printer was like, it was kind of pixelated, but we came up with it, Washington News. And then share a success story. These are the top 3 things that you can do. And then you can generate online reviews and share those as success stories from other people. And then as a reminder, I'm going to highly encourage you to watch my course on online reviews and social media. Okay, so if you really are interested in learning about how to create success stories, make sure you watch this course completely free. If you're a premium member, completely free when I send you the link as well. So really take advantage of this stuff if you want to grow your real estate business because you can incorporate it and start using these things right away. You might be thinking, but just doing this isn't going to make a difference. I'm not going to be able to sell a $2 million home or a $1 million home. It's what you do long-term over time that is really going to add up. So what I want to share also is that you are your best marketing asset. There's no one who can market and promote you better than you can. So you need to be the one that takes the initiative and takes the lead on doing that. So thank you so much for joining in. Again, I'm going to wrap up the recording so I can save that, but then I'm going to stick around for some more discussion. So stick around after I even close off. Thank you so much for being here. It is always a pleasure to work with SDAR, to work with its members and people who are guests and friends of SDAR. I really appreciate it. We have webinars booked every single month this year. Again, take advantage of them. So if you are on my email list or if you've attended this, pay attention to the upcoming emails. And every single month, I will send out updates on the trainings that you can watch. So thank you so much. Melody here with Marketing Melody, marketing your way to success. And I will see you in the next one.